Welcome back to another episode of Peeking into Success. We're now on episode 6. Today we have a singer-songwriter who was born and raised in Derby and has moved to London to further her career. We have Terrianne on today. Hello Terrianne, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you. So I've changed the format a bit for you because I know you myself.
Yeah.
So I'm just going with some quick fire questions,
Okay.
kind of icebreakers that I don't know what your answer is.
Okay.
Basically, I've gone for questions I don't know about you.
Oh, that's cool because you actually know quite a lot about me.
So first off, your go-to karaoke song.
Whitney, I want to dance with somebody.
Banger,
Yeah,
bit of a bop,
yeah.
get everyone singing on the
Yeah.
feet. The first CD you owned as a child.
I actually think the first CD I owned was High School Musical.
I swear you would have been about like 10 around then as well.
I don't think I had a CD before that.
Never had any music on in the house, CD player?
I had an MP3 player.
What was on that?
That had like, what are they called? Eternal Flame. Who is that? Atomic Kitten. Is it Atomic Kitten?
Sing Eternal Flame, we do.
Yeah. I had Atomic Kitten. I had Black Eyed Peas, My Humps.
I mean, questionable for your age, but we didn't know what the meaning of it back then, did we?
No, it's a jam.
What's the first gig you went to?
First gig, I think, was The Killers. I went with my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
How old
First
were you
big
then?
gig. I don't know how old I was. Maybe like 13, 14.
Fair play. It's a solid choice, I mean.
Yeah, it was sick.
Fair play. Where was that? Do you know where it was?
Oh, I think it was in Birmingham.
NEC?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Nice. Now moving on to your favourite act you've seen live. I had an idea of what I thought this was.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if you've changed it. At the time, I think it was one of your favourites. So I kind of put down as a note, in brackets, Madness, Why Not?
Oh my God, that
Because-
was so good.
Because that's something
I
I
was
thought...
so buzzing that night.
That's what I mean.
That was really good. No, not my favourite though. It was like, I think the atmosphere at that was just like...
It was a pure vibe.
Yeah.
Was it Sunday night? Or why
I
not?
can't remember, I just remember like knowing every word.
I don't even think any of us had properly drank that day either.
No,
I think it was just
so
pure
good.
energy from them.
Yeah. No, favourites, it's hard, I think. Well, recently I saw Self Esteem in Hammersmith and
Okay.
it was so amazing. But before that, I've also seen Jessie J at Royal Albert Hall, which was like mind-blowing as well.
Vocals. I've noticed you've got a thing
That's
for
what I mean, I'm like-
female vocals. You like someone who can do a run. Not
Yeah.
every performance is the same, but I mean
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah.
onto that in a bit.
Like Jessie J, like skipped. She had a skipping rope, and she skipped for like 2 minutes, and then she like stopped skipping and belts out these notes, and I was just like, what?
Is that kind of someone that you want to try and work towards? You want to get a skipping rope and do 3
Yeah.
minutes and then blast
Yeah,
out a tune. Moving on from that, what do you think your favourite song of all time is?
Oh God.
So if you've got, say for example, we go on Spotify,
Yeah.
they've deleted all of the songs off there bar one.
Oh man. I actually don't know if I've got one.
Everyone has that one like hidden, even if it's something from like,
Favourite
Old
song
school.
of all time.
or even something that when you can run it into the next sentence, so
Yeah.
make it your feel good tune or
I've got like a go-to feel-good tune.
go on then.
I don't know what my favourite song of all time might be a Whitney song.
Like it's
Maybe.
usually something like that triggers a memory. So mine is mine's 100% Waka Waka by
Yeah,
Shakira. So like, but
I
that
don't
just
know.
remembers that time in your life. That's
Yeah. I actually don't know my favourite song of all time. That's really hard. Go to feel good song. This is really funny. Well, I don't know if it's funny. It's It's off Honey. I believe I can. I believe I will. Do you know it?
I don't know that song. No.
I'll send it to you. It's so
Send
good.
it me. I'll listen to it. I've never heard that.
I think it's called I Believe. Yeah, it's good.
Fair play. No. I'll roll with that. And I feel like we've got into it now. We've got into the conversation of kind of music and the industry. So how did you get into the industry? What got you there? What got you into today?
I mean, I've sang like forever. I can't remember a time that I didn't sing. I played piano, and I started like writing songs when I was like 12, and then did music like all through school. And then when I left school, I was like, I know I want to do music, but I don't really know how. So I had a gap year, just like trying to figure that out. And then I went to BIM in London.
Did anyone kind of give you the push in that direction? With the kind of family member that was kind of like advising you, saying, oh yeah, like you are actually a good singer? Or was it like your friends saying, yeah, you're good? Or did you just know yourself?
I knew I wanted to do music. I knew I had to do music. Like, there's never been anything else that I would want to do. Nothing. Like, there's no plan B. There's not another job that I would do. No,
that makes sense.
So I knew I had to do music, but I didn't really know how. But to be honest, it wasn't really... I don't think anyone knew how to do it. And, like, even at school, you know, they would push, like, unis, but, like, academic unis. So
yeah.
I just felt, like, a bit lost. Like, is there even a way to do it? And then, actually, when I was looking at going to London, a lot of people were like, you're not going to be able to do that. It's too expensive. Like, how are you going to live in London? And then, actually, it was fine because, like, you get your student loan and that like, gave me the chance to move there, have 3 years on a student loan and studying, and then I like built all my network.
And I mean, you've worked kind of in like not music per se, but you've worked in creative environments as well. So you've always kind of tailored it for the end goal of music. I think anyway.
Like I've always obviously had to work as well. Like now I'm self-employed and do music full time, which is amazing. But before this was only like last year when I went fully self-employed. But up to that point, I've always worked in like theatres or venues or like worked here at Derbyvision. And
I mean, and I feel like if you work around creative-minded people, kind of that gives you the push. If you're working, you're working in a shop, they won't have the same vision as you. Or
I worked in retail for a couple of years and I was miserable.
So there you go. You found the way kind of up the ladder and kind of. As you've said, you've kind of made it your job now. You are self-employed. Going on to the musical side, who was your inspiration? So has your inspiration changed as you've got older? Or has it always been kind of, you've had that one artist and that's kind of been your driving force to kind of progress?
No, it's definitely changed. Like, I mean, I used to just listen to music that my dad used to listen to. Like The Killers or like... He likes, like, more rocky stuff, which I like Meatloaf and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I do like. And Madness. I love Madness. But that's, like, I just got that off what my parents listened to. Like, I didn't really find my own inspirations, I think, till I moved to London, really. And, like, even recently, like, the last couple of years, trying to hone my sound, I've been, like, looking for people who I listen to, and I'm like, that's what I want to sound like. That's what I want to put out.
I mean, like, it's good that it's changing. Through your music, I feel like from the first song in 2019 that you released
it's changed a lot.
To now, it's very different.
Yeah.
So has that been due to inspiration or is that down to you changing as a person, do you think?
Both. That's down to, like, my first single, I still love that song, but... When I was writing at that time, I was just writing what I thought I should be writing. Okay. I was writing, like, what I thought people would like, which doesn't really work, like... So
do you think, of course, you likened yourself to a particular artist and you tried to copy that, or...
No, not even that. I don't even think I had... It's actually a bit like the opposite. I think I was just writing how I thought people would like me to write and... what they would want to hear, but I didn't know who my references were.
Okay.
Or my inspirations, really.
So were you kind of going for, this is radio friendly, this would be seen on the radio, so
pop,
I'll kind of...
like cheesy pop. The lyrics are so cheesy of my first song.
I mean, I know every word, so I mean, I can't say anything about it.
As well. Like, the first 2 singles were very, very cheesy pop, which is fine if that's what you enjoy writing, but I wasn't writing it because I did enjoy it, but I don't know, I think my songs now have just got more depth.
So what do you think has changed, or...
Definitely finding inspirations and, like, references helped me to hone my sound, to, like, go back to my brand and look for other people who I listen to and I think, like, that's amazing. I want to say that same message. Also, just finding what I wanted to say. The first 2 singles don't really say anything. Really.
I mean, they're a bit about heartbreak, I feel, with the words and kind of getting over someone.
Second one's just like dancey. But all the songs now, when I sing them live, I'm like so feeling it, because I'm like, this is from an experience and this is a real, like, important message that I want to get out.
That makes sense.
The first 2 weren't like that.
I mean, do you still perform the first 2?
No, I actually don't know.
I mean, I kind of noticed the last time I saw you live that you didn't perform them, and I mean, a lot of people, of course, especially when you perform in Derby, know them words because, of course,
I feel the first one for sure.
I mean, the gap in between the first 2 was quite big, and then, of course, from the second to the third, where you said you've changed your style, I feel like there was a gap, whereas now they're kind of coming out every couple of months, would you say? I feel like you're on a bit of a trend with them and trying to get them out. I mean, I don't know if the end goal is releasing them all as a collective.
Yeah, it's an EP,
So when would that come out?
So the last, the title track will come out probably July, August. Summer, and then I'll release it all as a, like, as you said, as a collective EP, with some extra little treats on there.
I mean, I know I've got a song of mine that I like that you haven't released, but I've heard it live. So my favourite one is, I don't know the name of it, but it's the one about your mum. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that song.
I love that song, and it's kind of... I
can't even remember. Oh, Ways of the World. That's what it was called.
That's what it's called, Ways of the World. And literally, I used to hear that around at the beginning, like 2019, 2020. And I think you even did it like during lockdown as well. I heard that song around from you, and it never kind of materialised. But I feel, I don't know. I think that's personally my favourite song.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to ask you what yours is, and I mean, I kind of think I've unlocked something there that you didn't even...
But I didn't even remember about that song. There was a few in the old set that we just don't do anymore. Even when we were talking then, I was thinking first and second single. I was thinking Hey and then Damn Boy. Yeah, it was that, and then Get Gone came out. But even like talking now, I forgot about Get Gone, and that's out. But favourite song,
it can be one that you've not even released, like...
Yeah, I think it's the title track of the EP. I mean, Independent and Free.
I mean, I've heard that as well.
Yeah,
so
because that sparked all the other tracks on the EP.
Did it?
That was the one I wrote first.
Because wasn't that... I swear that was on like YouTube or something. It's like a sessions.
I've got the live session, but it's not out yet.
What was the live sessions that you used to have on YouTube? Is you had 2 or 3 that were
band ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got Blessed You and Naive. And then there is one for Independent and Free.
Oh, so
it will come out.
I'm just foreseeing the future. Yeah. So, of course, going on to, of course, you mentioned a bit about set lists and performing live previously. I personally think, and I know me and you have spoken about it before, but you bring the songs to life when you're live. Like, I can listen to it in my ears, and I hear the lyrics, I like the songs, but when there's just a different vibe and a different switch up when you go live, it's like you up it because you want people to come and see you again. What are your thoughts about performing live?
Yeah, performing live is definitely like the whole reason that I am in the music industry. Like, it's, to be honest, performing live is like my number one, even over like releasing or anything else.
Yeah.
Like, performing live is like my soul.
I mean, I know when I met you that you were even doing like musical theatre and things like that. So I mean, I feel like it's always been there. You've just tailored it to your advantage now. The performer inside you's always been there, and you kind of tailored it into this beast. That when you just, as we're talking now, no one would expect that when you go on the stage, you just turn into something else, and you leave it all on the stage. Like, I see you after, and you're sweating, you're literally like, hey, you're right, thanks for coming. And I'm like, fair, like, you put your heart and soul in. I mean, it shows, and it shows the dedication, it shows all the hard work is left on that stage. And, I mean, fair play. Like, I couldn't do that, so... but, of course, 2020, we had COVID, we had lockdown, and kind of that stopped your kind of soul being exposed to the world. So how did you cope with that? How did you adapt?
Oh, it was so hard not having live music. Even like my originals, and also like at that time I was doing so many function gigs and covers gigs. Like that was and I worked at Royal Albert Hall, so that closed. Like my whole life just like got shut down. So I don't know. I think for a couple of months I was like, oh, it's gonna come back. Just wait it out a little bit, and then obviously it went on for ages. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to. I did try like Zoom sessions, like Zoom writing sessions, and I absolutely hated it. I really hated it.
Was that for any?
I wrote one song. I wrote "Walk Away" actually in lockdown, which is the one song that came from lockdown.
Yeah.
Apart from that, like my creativity was drained because I need to be in a room with people.
Yeah.
Over Zoom, I could not feel the vibe.
And it's also distracting, isn't it? I mean, I noticed from Zoom things I had that you just get distracted. You're looking at the TV. You're not present
in the room with someone.
Yeah.
But I set up Singing for Sanity in lockdown, which was because I also teach singing. And I was like, everyone needs music right now. So I just was doing like free singing lessons, and the group. Did you ever come to that group? Like choir session?
Come on now, I can't sing so well.
It didn't matter though because you're on Zoom, right? So no one actually heard you. But it was that called Feel Good Friday? I think that was called Feel Good Friday.
Feel Good Friday was the Facebook.
Yeah,
thing.
First I was doing that, but then I think I named the Singing for Sanity thing Feel Good Friday as well.
Oh, okay.
The sing along.
Okay.
So I Feel Good Friday came from lockdown. It started as like a Facebook Live, Instagram Live. I'll just go on, and sometimes I got people on as well and did like games and stuff, and then sometimes I just sang random songs, and just like if people ask me for a song, I'll just sing it.
I mean, I was present in them, and I I just had it on. I was playing on PlayStation, couldn't go anywhere else, and just had you in the background.
A weird time, like thinking about it now, it was so weird.
Do you know? You touched on Singing for Sanity, but kind of. What is the purpose and what is the messages? I know that you've done live shows with them in London and stuff since. So what is the message that you want from Singing for Sanity to give out?
Singing for Sanity is like it's singing lessons, but for absolutely anyone. Like the aim of it is not to sing perfectly. The aim is to like get the release that I get from music. But I wanted to like give that to other people. So, you know, when you're in the car and you just, like, turn it up to the max and you belt it out and it, like, gives you a release, that's what I want my lesson to feel like.
And, I mean, with the sanity bit, I think that it was giving people a purpose and kind of boosting their mental health because, as you said, it was for anyone. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm a rubbish singer.
Yeah. It was more about the feeling that it gave you than the actual singing part.
Which, I mean, I want to touch on it quickly because it kind of links. Is that, of course, your friend John came from Singing for Sanity and kind of a man that was kind of not known and kind of just came into your life just through that. And, of course, made himself onto the latest single. And I've seen him perform live with you. He's a legend.
Yeah,
I think he's a good advocate for what's happening, and it shows a good message for you personally, I think, because I mean, Second Class Citizen, that's your latest one, but it shows that you want the end goal of being successful, but you were so grounded that, I mean, I know you as a person, I know you're grounded anyway, but I mean, you're so grounded as an artist, you will involve everyone, you will keep everyone involved. You don't put people down because you just want to give people that platform to deliver. And I feel that is my opinion on the evolution of Terrianne, because Terrianne, before she went London, was, in the nicest way, ditzy. And when she moved, she'd even ask me questions like, oh, I can't order an Uber to this street when it was a one-way street.
I'm still like that.
but I feel like now...
Oh yeah, I remember ringing you. It was like I'd only just moved, and I was like, Adam, how do I get it? I was working at Harrods, right?
You were,
like, how do I get home? I can't get a taxi or whatever. And like you were like, how do I know?
I'm in Derby. I can't help you there. But I mean, from that to literally seeing when I saw you in Derby a couple of months ago, and you were literally like, you were like, right, John's in the wheelchair, I'm going to jump down to his level, I'm going to perform with him, next to him. You're not bothered if anyone else could see you. You were bothered that you're doing it for him, and the song's with him. I mean...
Yeah, I think, like, also, when you knew me before I moved, I was, like... I still am a people pleaser, like, very much, but I've definitely... am I allowed to swear on this?
Swear away.
I definitely, like, took a lot of shit from people, or would be worried about, like... Say that gig, I'd probably be like, oh, is it okay if John comes in this door and I get off the stage, or like, oh, sorry. Yeah. And like, now I'm like,
you of just course cleared that space.
Off the stage and sing it with him. Like, I don't know, I'm just standing my ground a bit more. I'm like, this is my gig. This is how I'm going to do it.
100%. And it comes through and it shows it. As I've said, it shows the evolution of you. And I mean, it shows that song has meaning to other people, not just you.
Yeah. I've also learnt a lot from John. Like, I didn't even know any of what I know now about accessibility and disability, and that's what the song is as well. Second Class Citizen is like me and John expressing just everything that we felt when he came for a trip to London, and I was just like shocked at how inaccessible London was, and everywhere it is.
I mean, he features, he says a few sentences on the track. My question...
He is actually singing on it. It's quite quiet, and all the voices are like merged on the chorus, but he actually did sing on it as well,
I know that he sings the live version when he's there. So I mean, that's good to know. I mean, my other question was going to be, of course, you've got John.
Yeah.
Who were the other voices kind of in the song? Yeah. Did they kind of have hidden disabilities, or do they have something?
So, it started about John and why he felt like a second-class citizen because of his disability, and then my experiences of being a woman in the music industry, that's what I used when I was writing my lyrics. And then we were like, this is not just about us, like, so many people have felt like this for different reasons. So on the voice notes, I'm trying to remember which one's first. I think my friend Jane, her section is about like same as me, but she's a little bit older than me, and there's a lot of ageism as well. So that's what hers is about. That's why she's been made to feel like that. Then there's my friend Mashana. She's a black artist, and she's experienced like a lot of racism within the industry. So that's her part. And like people like typecasting her and stuff. And then Rob's in it. He's my best friend. He's gay, so he's experienced a lot of that kind of feeling growing up, and also again in the music industry. Like, it's a hard place, man.
Yeah.
And then John's is the last one, and that's what we leave you with is John's voice note at the end.
But it gets you thinking, and it does put a lot into perspective of how we're living. And I mean, especially letting people access what me and you can just walk up a flight of stairs. Me and you can just walk into a venue, and we'd hope nothing would happen. We'd just get on with our day. But there is all them underlying secret things. It might not get said to your face, but it is hard hitting. And I mean, it damages people's mental health. It puts people off going for their dreams. So I feel like you've sent out a powerful message. And I mean, I hope that it gets pushed further, because a lot of people need to hear it and understand to try and make a change, if that makes sense. Because I mean, we're kind of lucky that when we were at Derby Theatre, of course, and they do a lot of accessibility to we kind of been shadowed with thinking, oh, everywhere's like this, but it's not. And I mean, I respect you for bringing out the song, because it makes people think. And I mean, I had to listen to it a couple of times to make sure I actually took it in. And I felt like on a first listen, people may not take it in. So it's a thinker, not a bop, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think live as well has a different energy.
I mean, you being, I mean, from where I was stood in the room, I couldn't even properly see you.
Yeah.
But like, you could hear the emotion, and you could, I mean, I heard John at the end of the gig, and he was just gassed.
Yeah.
So like, that shows that you're not just making your day and making the best for you, you're making other people's day, and that's big props. I mean, I give you credit for that. Moving on, of course, more live things.
Yeah.
Especially in Derby, you did Derbyvision.
Yeah.
So do you want to hit on that? I mean, you're the one and only champion of it. So, I mean, it'll go down in Derby history.
Yeah, it was good. It was like Derby's version of Eurovision. So many good artists and bands. Like, it was such good energy. It was on BBC Derby, and I won, which was crazy. And I've actually won a music video, which I am so excited about.
Have you chose the song you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So when will people expect to see that?
September.
Okay, nice. And it was done by Derby Can.
Yeah.
And they kind of helped you with that. And I mean, that kind of you're on a bit of a snowball at the moment. You're gathering a lot of momentum, because Derbyvision happened, then you went with the semi-finals and the finals both after Derbyvision for Isle of Wight.
Oh God, I can't remember the order that this happened. No, I think I'd done the semi-final.
Okay.
And they were like a month apart. So yeah, I think I'd done the semi-final, then did Derbyvision, and then went back, and then a couple of weeks later did the final for the Isle of Wight competition. And
you won it.
Yeah.
So to winning 2 events in the matter of a month.
Yeah, it's like in a month I gained a fully funded music video, like professional music video, which is something that I've wanted to do for so long.
You've tried it in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, I've tried it and it's not worked, or like I've had all the plans there, and then funding has just meant that I can't do it. Because obviously, you know, like I said before, I want to do it how I want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So if my budget doesn't let me do it how I want to do it, and it's not anything crazy, but I just know what I want with it.
That's it. If you're particular, of course, sometimes money creeps up. If you want to have good quality, that increases it. Exactly.
And then I've obviously gained that slot at Isle of Wight Festival, and it's just yeah, it's crazy.
It's mad. And I mean, you perform there, what's the date of Isle of Wight?
Friday the 16th. So it's in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
16th of June. I don't know when this is going to come out.
Wednesday. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
This sounds really weird because everyone's listening and they'll be like, it's Wednesday. But, of course, you're funding Isle of Wight Festival at the moment to go for this Friday slot.
Oh, that's great that this is out. Yeah.
So then, of course, you'll have a gig in Derby with Derby Can.
Yeah.
On the Saturday, which
on the 10th
of June.
The Saturday before, so I leave for Isle of Wight on the Thursday. So the Saturday before, I'm doing a fundraiser in Derby.
And that's to help basically make your life easier, make your expenses be paid so you can basically roll up, get there. Is of course Derby and Isle of Wight quite far away.
Yeah. And I'm like a band of 7.
Yeah. As well as, of course, you'll have to take... I mean, we spoke about just like videographer, everything like that. So, of course, it's a big operation and you're wanting to get content out of that and good exposure and you don't want to stress. So the fundraiser is kind of to make it easier for you and less stressful on you.
Yeah, also, like, this competition has been absolutely amazing. But none of my costs are covered. So... to get a band of 7 to Isle of Wight, just the ferries alone is so expensive. So when I won, it was like so exciting, and then I got all the logistics through, and then I was like so excited but also so stressed because I looked at the ferries, and obviously I won and it's like 2 weeks to go.
Yes.
And I was just like, I'm not going to be able to go. I can't do it. I can't afford it. Like I can't get us there. So that's why this fundraiser is like, I've won it and I've got the slot, but we've got to get there.
You've got a crowdfunding as well, haven't you? So, and I mean, I've took a glance at that. I know that you've got quite a lot of people that back you corner.
It blows my mind. It's crazy. I put it on I think it's been up 3 days, maybe.
And it smashed the target
I think it's
already.
3 days. It smashed the target. I met the target, I think, in the first day. Like, I did. So the goal was £350 to help with the travel, right? I've already covered the travel now. So now I'm like, okay, if anyone else wants to support, these are the other things that I got to pay for, like paying the band, videographer, outfits, equipment. There's a long list. But I was just like, if I could cover the travel, that would be a big weight off my shoulders.
100%.
Done in one day. And I have, like, anonymous people donating. I have people who I don't know. Like, it's so mad.
But that shows that when you do stuff like this and do your gigs in Derby, and it was rammed when you did your last one.
Such a good night.
It shows that you are supported, and I think from locally anyway. Yeah. But of course, you having that slight disconnect from being in London, you may not always notice it until something like this comes round. Yeah. You're like, even these randomers who have heard my song or seen me post a video, they've backed me. So I mean, it's massive, and I mean, can you give a bit more about Saturday, the 10th of June? Like, what you know so far, basically?
So it's been very last minute. So, like, when I had that moment of defeat, like, I'm not going to be able to go, I emailed, like, everyone, just, like, who can help me? Like, and straight away I was like, I'm going to email Sam from Derby Can, who did Derbyvision, and was just like, do you think we could put on an event this last minute and just get as many people involved as we can? And they were just like, yeah, of course, come in for a meeting, like, we'll sort it out. Yes. So, it's with Derby Can. It's going to be in Derby. We've nearly secured a venue, and just getting as many artists involved. It's going to be just, like, back-to-back performances from local artists, and just, like, a great night, a Saturday night. Like,
that's it. And, I mean, it's something different. I mean, like, for example, football season's over. Yeah. There's nothing really going on a Saturday nowadays, so it just gives reason for people to dress up. Yeah. Have a good time. It's
going to be like, I forgot to even say, it's going to be like festival themed. So it's like festival theme before I then get sent off to Isle of Wight. It's like my send off to Isle of Wight. So I'm thinking like glitter, glow sticks, just festival vibes, good vibes. It will be like a very intimate vibe as well, like a bit different to my band gigs, but I think that's nice because it gives people a chance. I might even do like a Q&A as well, and just keep it quite like stripped back and raw.
That's it. And I mean, then people have that personal connection to you. And I mean, that's kind of the hope from this. I mean, I know you personally, but it's for people to understand what's behind the belting the song out on the stage.
Yeah, and like some people saw me at Derbyvision as well, and I had a few messages after that, so I'm like hoping that people who saw me at Derbyvision, because that was obviously only the one song, can come and see my whole set.
That's it. And I mean, have you decided the set? The set. So
I'm going to do my set that I'm going to do at Isle of Wight.
Oh, okay. So basically, if you can't get to Isle of Wight,
just come to Derby.
You get the next best thing just on your doorstep. Yeah. So you can't complain with that. Moving on slightly, talking about, we've just gone through your career quite quickly of the ups, the downs, everything. What do you see as your biggest achievement that you've had so far? I
think this, like Isle of Wight,
nice.
It's going to be the biggest stage that I've ever done my originals on. Like, I had to fill out the thing yesterday, and it was like, how many hand towels do you want on the stage? And I was like, this is mad.
The rider.
That and also the crowdfund I did last year, when I got over $2,000, that was a huge achievement for me.
What song was that for?
That was for the EP.
Oh, that was for the EP.
The whole EP, the artwork, that was towards also the live session videos that have gotten me this slot at Isle of Wight.
Nice.
Like, without those videos, I wouldn't have even got into the competition to do this, to get the slot at Isle of Wight.
So it shows how much public backing and local backing
massively helped.
Affects an artist.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have found a way to get to Isle of Wight. I don't know how. I probably would have just like swam. I would have found some way, but it would have been so hard. And like putting that up on that day and just being like, I need some help for us to get there. And people responding straight away one day, like, that's insane.
That's it. You've got a lot of pulling. I mean, with like, you've got a lot of different generations, if that makes sense. Like, at your gigs, like, I saw like people mid-20s. I saw people, of course, your sister's age. She's a couple of years younger.
My nan.
your nan.
Yeah.
And then, like, of course, your mum's friends, your dad's friends. Yeah. Kind of that middle-aged range.
Yeah.
So kind of, and everyone just enjoys the music the same, which is nice because it is not like you're speaking to one demographic. You're like, no, I'm going to blanket them all.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you've not mentioned what stage you're on at Isle of Wight.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just thinking, because of course it's usually on radio, and then sometimes they like show clips on like YouTube and stuff, so like if people know like the stage, time.
So I'm on the Friday the 16th. I'm on the River stage, which is right next to the main stage, at 4:45 p.m.
Which is a good spot, because then
pre-drinks before the headliners.
Exactly. And you can basically go see Terrianne, and then you're thinking, I might go to main stage straight before your tea. Yeah. Basically, perfect slot. Nice time, because, of course, while you're performing, if it's on radio, people will be leaving work at that time.
Yeah. So I'm so excited, because, like, at first, they sent me a slot that was on the Sunday, like, midday. And I didn't even think about it. I was like, yes, amazing. And then I nearly sorted all the travel. Like, I had it all ready to book.
Yeah.
And then they called me again. Oh, they might change it to the Friday. And, like, I was like, I just sorted the travel. And then I was like, what am I doing? I was like, yeah, Friday. I was like, Friday's amazing. Like, what a dream.
That's it. I mean, the thing is, people are fresher on a Friday, and people want to
such a good slot.
People want to explore the festival, if that makes sense.
Like, just got there that day.
So they're gonna wander around. They're gonna wander around stages. So people are more likely to come across you. Whereas Sunday, people are hanging.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do as well? I'm going to make little cards and write on them, like, I'm an independent artist, this is my first ever festival. come and support at this stage at this time.
Yes.
I'm going to make like hundreds and then get me and all the band just like going around giving them out. Because if I was at a festival and I got that, you know, like in the day, you don't really know who you want to go and see.
No, this is it. And I mean, the thing is, now we've got social media.
Yeah.
And I know you use it to your advantage with fundraising and everything, but you putting out a couple of posts and hashtagging the festival or doing TikToks and hashtagging it on the way, people can be like, this is just a girl from Derby who's like on a mad one trying to get to Isle of Wight. Oh yeah, we'll go and see her. It's like that is a way to just grow you massively, and people will be like, yeah, screw it, we'll go and see her.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know the whole set list for Isle of Wight, so I don't know who else is on, but I think
it's sick.
People should just go to you, give you some love, and then go to the main stage.
Yeah.
Get on a hype and get in that party atmosphere. Good vibes for the whole of the Friday night. So, of course, we spoke about the high and the biggest achievement.
Yeah.
What is a defining moment of your career? So something that's changed you or something that's pushed you on to excel?
Yeah. I think one of the big things, like we've spoken about this before, is when I was still at BIM and like in my first years in London, I was having like meetings with labels and managers and stuff, and one time did this photo shoot which was just like horrendous, and they tell me what to wear and how to do my makeup, or like they would tell the makeup artist how to do my makeup instead of me being like, this is what I want on my face. And like had a few experiences like that of I didn't really know what I wanted as well, so it wasn't only their fault, like it was my fault as well, because I was so naive that I was just like following whatever anyone told me I should do. And I had a bit of like a crisis of just being like, I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I want to wear. Like, all this stress. And I found a stylist, Eliza. She's on Instagram, SOS Dress Code. And she basically helped me to like just go back to myself and be like, who are you? What do you want? And like, she took me shopping and like, she would pick up things and I'd be like, no way, I can never wear that. And she'd be like, why? Do you like it? And I'd be like, I love it, but no, it's too bright. It's too...
Oh, yeah.
And now you know how I am now. It's like... But she made me be able to be like, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to put across. And I'm not going to change that for anyone. And I'm not going to let anyone tell me what to do. That was like a career-defining moment because that made me establish my brand. And my whole,
100%.
Not only my brand with like what I'm wearing, it was so much more than that. It was everything. It was like what I want to say, what music I want to put out. It was the whole thing.
I mean, I want to say after that, that's when the logo kind of came around for the brand as well. And then the merch kind of came along.
And actually it felt so big before that and it felt so hard. And then actually it's easy now because I'm like, I just choose what I like. I just do what I like and what I want to show. People
respect you for doing that. And I mean, as we've seen and as you've said, of course, now when you get to a gig, you're like, yeah, I'm going to jump off the stage. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do that. So I think it's defined you massively and it's kind of, not in a horrible way, giving you the backbone to push you on.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean... With all the things with the record label, you made a song around it, didn't you? Like the struggles and like, I mean, I think you even plugged it when you were saying it subconsciously, saying naive.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to like point it out as you were just on the flow, but like you even pointed out subliminally that you were thinking about the song at the same time. So like, I think basically all of that negativity kind of got crushed up and has propelled you, and it's not knocked you, it's not pushed you down and said, no, I'm going to give up, it's excelled you. So that's like a big message, I think, that...
it's like all of those moments when you think you're like right at the bottom, something happened. Like that's when something's come in.
100%.
You got to ride it out. Like before Derbyvision and Isle of Wight, I was literally like... I'm going to have to go back and get a normal job.
Really?
That's where I was, yeah. And I was just like, I need something to happen.
And it came through.
And it came through.
So, fair play. So, of course, we know you're doing Isle of Wight Festival. Mm-hmm. Is there any other upcoming shows, or what are your future goals after Isle of Wight?
There's a few secrets that are very exciting that I'm not allowed to tell yet.
No, fair play.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram and you'll see. What can I tell you about? So we've got the fundraiser gig.
Yes.
Next week, on Saturday the 10th. That's going to be a great night. Then I've got Isle of Wight. And then, obviously, I'm making the music video with Derbyvision.
Yes.
Independent and Free is going to come out in summer, which is the title track. Live session video.
What songs are they for? Is that for Independent and Free?
So the last one's Independent and Free, yeah.
Yes.
And then there's going to be some surprises on the EP.
Nice.
And I'm thinking I'm gonna do another big gig in the summer.
I mean,
I love summer.
I know. With you, whenever kind of, especially with the first two songs, you kind of did a launch for them, and you're very known for kind of like plug, drag everyone into space.
Yeah, exactly.
Perform it.
And Independent Free is like the title track, so then that's like the whole EP. So I need to do a party for that.
Well, wherever you're thinking, Derby, London, both do a little bit of
I'll probably do both.
Okay, nice. So then people can get to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier, accessible for everyone. Nice. And we need to watch out for the secrets, of course.
Yes.
You're a woman that's not telling very much.
I'll get in trouble.
I think you touched on this in the defining moment, but I'm going to ask it anyway with... What would you do differently if you went back to that 17, 18-year-old Terrianne who was finding a way? What would you do differently, if anything?
I don't think I would do anything differently because everything that I've done has, like, led me to this point. And, like, when you asked me, when you said that earlier, I was thinking... just say, like, don't take shit from anyone. But if I'd have said that to my 17-year-old self, like, I'd have just been like, yeah, okay. And then I would have still taken the shit. Like, you have to have those things happen.
Yeah, them life experiences.
For you to realise yourself, like, I mean, if all of that didn't happen with those labels, I wouldn't have found a stylist. And then I wouldn't have realised, actually, you know, I could have... Yeah, I don't think I would change anything. Because
maybe them knockbacks kind of propelled you, and if you didn't have that kind of drive...
Yeah. And also, all the songs on the EP are angry, and they're all about this stuff. So if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have written the bangers.
This is true. What would you have written about? This is it.
Just like songs with no message.
So there you go. Is there one piece of advice then that you'd give to your younger self?
Oh yeah, I've kind of said that because that's what I was thinking I would say, like, don't take any shit, but then I think you just gotta go through your own advice to my younger self. That would be it, yeah.
The best way I can describe what you've said today is that kind of ride it out no matter what.
Yeah.
And kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Advice I would probably... That's probably what I would say. Like, when you're having those low moments, it means a high is coming.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's so hard to think that when you're in those moments of defeat. But I think... And even I would say that to myself now. That's my advice to myself.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Just to round it up then.
Yeah.
You kind of plugged people... in and around the podcast, but kind of where can people find you easily and kind of what can they expect if they go on there?
Yeah, Terrianne Official. It's TERRIANNE Official. That's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you want. Find me on there and you'll see the secrets unveil in the next couple of months.
And you'll be doing...
And you'll see Isle of Wight behind the scenes.
There you go. That's what I was about to say. But no, thank you for coming on and chatting through. I feel it's been positive.
Yeah, it was nice.
So, and it was nice to do just before your gig and kind of get that message out as well.
Reflect.
There you go. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Peaking to Success podcast. If you enjoyed, please make sure you follow us on Spotify as well as Instagram, where you can see all the updates of who is coming up, as well as who has already been on the podcast, as well as Twitter, where there is information and interaction from me on there as well. Thank you.